This is all amazing, but the real heart of the madness of this collection, what makes it wonderful and insane and like no other, is right here in this room. So
through there.
Just walk in there.
Let's see it.
Just walk in there and just tell me what you see.
God.
Oh my God,
Oh.
You would never expect to find it, but spilling out of a nondescript warehouse in rural Southwest Virginia, you will find what has quietly become the greatest collection of Japanese market cars in the United States.
And we don't mean cars made by Japanese companies. These are not the Hondas and Toyotas you can buy at your local dealer. These are forbidden fruit. The kind of cars that were not only never sold in America, they were illegal to even drive here. This really is, to the best of our knowledge, one of the largest car collections in the world. But the size isn't the only thing that's interesting. It's what's in it and the guy behind it, Gary Duncan.
And the story of why he created it. Gary is not the kind of guy you would expect to collect the greatest and strangest cars that Japan ever produced. Cars that were never sold here.
Cars that Gary has waited decades to bring here.
Gary, I feel like I'm in an optical illusion of some kind.
That's what my wife said.
I feel like I'm in an incredible virtual reality where I've gone down the wormhole of the internet, and yet
This is so not even
Why
all
is
of
there
it.
a giant carved thing on your car?
do you realize that someone parked an old house on your car?
It's a tiny home.
Gary Duncan has been around cars all his life and has been selling them since he was 19. But lots of people sell cars. Nobody collects them like Gary.
You gotta see
go.
more. We have to see
This
more.
is-
There's so much more to see.
Ow!
We had heard about Gary's collection, but we weren't prepared for actually seeing it.
Oh,
I would love to have you geek out as long as possible, but there's too much. So,
Wow,
in
my
fact, we're
God.
gonna kind of commit a sin here. We're
Oh,
gonna go
the
past
SJ.
all these amazing American cars, not because there's anything wrong with them, just
Jason,
because
what?
the volume of
Wow, look at
other
these
weird stuff you have to
Chryslers.
see is so much greater.
Oh, the 55s.
Yeah, they're
I
all
love
great.
These. These
Those
are
are Cadillacs?
If there was any
Oh, look at
justice,
this.
we
Ford
would stop
Rangers.
at everyone. That's what's great about this collection, is Gary appreciates the mundane stuff too and understands what needs to be preserved. So yeah, you have a regular Ford Ranger, the best one you've ever seen, but it's here among all this other amazing stuff.
People are wondering.
Like a Datsun pickup.
A Datsun pickup.
And a Datsun pickup,
And look at this one.
and then that's another pickup.
Early with a badge for 60 horsepower, which I love. That there's a badge that they actually had to
That
let
one's a-
everyone know 60 horsepower.
Oh, Chevy Love.
Yeah. Look at
the
this love.
Mikado. This love is impeccable.
Yes.
As a big
That
love
is- yeah.
aficionado, I am a huge fan. Look, you
Raph, there's no time.
you can actually see the tapes on the tape stripe.
This was a Suzu,
Yes.
right? Yeah, and it's, all of these are great. But we got to keep moving. This is all amazing, but the real heart of the madness of this collection, what makes it wonderful and insane and like no other, is right here in this room. So
Through there.
just walk in there.
Let's see it.
Just walk in there and just
Oh
tell me
my
what you see.
God.
Oh my God,
Oh my God.
it's Figaros.
Yeah.
It's thousands of Figaros.
There is no other place in the world where there's this many
That's
Nissan Figaro.
a Figaro, and that's a Figaro, and that's a Figaro, and that's a Figaro, and that's a Figaro, 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 that's a Figaro.
The Figaro is one of Nissan's Pike cars. Under the skin, it uses normal economy car parts, but it's wrapped in a retro body. It seems like it would have been perfect for the American market, but with its love of retro cars and convertibles. But instead, Nissan kept it to the Japanese market only. If Americans wanted one, they would have to wait 25 long years. Production was intentionally limited when it was new, and it was put on sale at the height of the late 80s, early 90s bubble era. People went bonkers for it. People like Gary Duncan.
Back in 1989, we had won a trip to Japan with Honda, and we got to go to the Tokyo Motor Show, and that's the first time I saw one of these Figaros, and we kind of knew right then they were going to be a hit, but Nissan, of course, wouldn't let us have any. So we've been waiting 25 years, and as soon as I was able to buy them, I buy them in Japan, all I can buy, and I buy out of England, anywhere we can get them. They're just so cool.
And the reason you got so many is because you didn't just want one, you wanted this to be something everybody could get, right?
Well, they only made 20,000 of them. They're going to be one of the best collector cars that's ever come across. Every day I buy in Japan, they just keep going up.
So this wasn't just, you know, something you would do as a collector, as a curator. This is a business decision.
Well, it's a business decision, plus, I mean, I love the car, and it's a car you can enjoy, the attributes of the car. It's a 4-cylinder turbo. You can run 75, 80 miles an hour.
How many of them do you have?
Probably about 140, either here or coming.
Gary has bought up all of these cars, but more importantly, he keeps them for sale. He loves them, but he wants to fulfill his vision of sharing that love for these incredible cars with the rest of America. After 2.5 decades, this is what a long-awaited dream looks like.
Oh, will I fit? I don't know if I'm Japanese size. Oh, I'm in here. Okay. This is a little creepy. I'm in the dead person zone. It's a little weird, but oddly comfortable. And it smells nice.